You're listening to the 1 Minute Writing Tip, a podcast that gives you tips on how to overcome writer's block, overwhelm, and self-doubt. Learn how to accomplish your God-given book idea, even if you're a busy mompreneur, confidently publish a bestseller, and use your book as a tool for impact and for purpose. We have a variety of episodes with interviews from best-selling authors in the industry, experts who have tools and tricks to help you succeed, and of course, recommendations from me, your host, Caitlin Silva. You can find even more resources on wewritebooks.com, where you can also take advantage of your complimentary bestseller assessment to get a step-by-step roadmap to accomplish your bestseller and beyond. So let's get into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 1 Minute Writing Tip podcast. I'm super excited for today's guest. I'm speaking with Hannah Ratnam, who is a devout, spirit-filled Pakistani Christian who is also a wife and a mother, and she is the founder of Supernatural Ministries Ltd in Canada. She has had many different challenges in her life, but despite all of that, she has accomplished an internationally award-winning script, which received 24 awards, as well as a short film with 17 awards. She is the producer of several short films and has received a lot of recognition in that space. And so she has also recently become the best-selling author of her book, Hannah's Dream, which details the transformative occurrences in her life that were quite supernatural. So I'm excited to be talking with her today and allowing her to share about her life and her story. So Hannah, thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking out your time.
Sure. So will you just share a little bit more with the audience about your journey and how you really got to where you are now?
My journey is almost, I would say, from the day I was born in Karachi, Pakistan. Journey actually started there. God wrote my book, which I did after 53 years now. So it is like a very, very difficult, long journey I had been through, and God was always there, no matter whether I was with him, I was devoted that time with him or not, but he was always there. So my spiritual mom story, then my grandmom story, all their gifts, spiritual gifts, the training, the education, mentorship, my dad's development, strict rules, everything is covered in the book, initial chapters, and how God gave me strength. I'm born warrior by God's grace. And with that, I have never ever given up with whatever situations I have seen, faced. And by God's grace, I did my grade 10, grade 12, grade 14, did my MBA in sales and marketing. And I always wanted to leave Pakistan. I always have some plans which I don't want to tell anyone. And I said, God, please, mom, please pray. I have to go. We have to leave this place because it was very difficult to survive there. So leaving from Pakistan to Dubai, and then God bringing a very new chapter in my life, which I never ever thought of. God provided everything within 6 months. We were in Canada. So it was like everything was so shocking all these years, which I never planned. This is not my ideas. This is not what I wanted to do. My plan was I will go to Canada, have my business, I'll study, grow up. Even when I was in Pakistan, I said, oh, I am a businesswoman. I need to do some business in my life. It never happened there. Even in Dubai, I tried, but God's plan is different than our plans. So today I am here sitting in front of you with all of you discussing my story. I'm thankful to God for what he's done in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I agree with you. I think that it is important to recognize that God created each of us with a unique purpose in mind and a plan. And at some point, we have the choice between, do we follow our own plans or do we submit to God's plans? And of course, we know that his plans are always better. So it's amazing that he stepped in and he really led you on that path that he had for you. So how did that lead to you writing the script and then writing the book? And what really pushed you to actually do those things?
To be honest with you, I'm not a writer. I said that before also to you and many others. I never wrote anything in my entire life. This is the first time I have done it. So when I had the dream on 19 September 2013, after that, I didn't knew what I have to do. So when I was sitting and praying, God told me to write down on big piece of paper. He gave me Habakkuk 2:2. And in my Bible, it says write down on big plates. And I said, God, there is no more big plates here. We are not in Moses' time. Which plates you're talking about? So I just wrote whatever I found in the market, big journal, very thick one. And I said, okay, maybe this is the big plates he's talking about. So this is me who's thinking, but not God who's planning behind. I wrote my dream, and after 3 days, I told how the blast took place and how I was there and everything I shared in the story, in the book, in my script. And when I was sitting and praying, God told me ICVM. It's an international visual Christian media, which is in USA, and he just gave me the name. So I Googled and I found, yeah, there is something like that in that part of the world. And after 3 days prayer, I contacted that company, and there was a lady who picked up the call, and she said, there is a big conference happening. I encourage you go there, because the story you have is very powerful and you should share with the world. So I said, but I'm new to Canada. My young child is there. My husband is working full time. I can't go like that. I can't travel because it's too much expense. And she said, if God has given you this, you pray and God will provide you. So I said, okay, I'll pray. I start praying, and in my spirit, I felt that this is from God and I need to go there. And I just start looking the tickets, and I talked to my husband. I said, I think I need to go there and I need money for that. But I never worked initially. So money was always an issue, because when you come to new country, you have to spend dollars now. It's not dirhams or rupees. So it was hard, and I said, Lord, no, I'm not going to ask him for money. If this is from you, you have to provide me. So one day I was just sitting and looking for tickets. We found there is a cancellation and it's half price. And right away I booked for myself and my daughter. And I said, okay, God, thank God, tickets are ready. Now let me go. And then we went there. By God's grace, I got discount of almost 50% on my reservations. Almost I lived free of cost in the hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. There's another miracle in that happened, because I went to shower and the tub was clogged with the hair. I called the maintenance and they said, oh, we will give you VIP room. You don't have to stay in this economy room. And I said, no, that's fine. And then they said, okay, your all 3 days, 3 nights are free. So I said, oh, that's amazing. So when I went there, from the day one till I come back, everybody was telling me, you need to write this script. And I said, what is script? I don't know. I've never done script. And there was a pastor, he was preaching, when God gave you message, either dream, either vision, or whatever way he does, you need to write it down and listen to that and work on it. So he told me Habakkuk 2:2. And I said, oh my goodness, he's also talking about the same verse which God gave me before. And with that, things changed. I came back and I start asking everybody, can you write my script? Can you write my script? Can you write my script? Nobody wanted to write, because it's Christian, persecution, religious issue, whatever the issues are there. And they said, no, we are not interested. Anyhow, nobody did. And I got frustrated and I said, Lord, nobody is writing the story. I don't know how to write the script. What should I do? And sometime when I'm too frustrated, I am a little angry. And I said, God, you take over now. You bring somebody. I can't find it. And then he gave me 2 lines to write on Facebook. And he said, I am looking for a script writer who can write a story on Christian persecution in Pakistan. That's all I wrote. Right away, answer came. There was a lady and she said, I'm ready. And I said, she don't know me. I don't know her. And she's saying she's ready. What is this? And I contacted her. We chat. We had different timing with the discussion of the story. And I asked her, why do you say you're ready? And she said, because I was praying here for 2 years. She's in USA. And for 2 years, I'm asking God to give me a project which I can write for you. So my gift, my talent, my skills can be served for you. And I said, oh, the same 2 years I've been searching for a scriptwriter and praying for one. And that's how we got connected. And Shelley did beautiful script. As you said, we won 24 awards on that. And then script was done. And I sent it to many, many film places, film festivals. And there I got these awards.
Wow. Yeah, and then so that was quite a divine connection, and it's really beautiful to hear the story about how that came to be and how God provided and the miraculous provision, even at every step of the way. I think it's so beautiful and so wonderful. I know that you shared with me separately that there were other people who got involved and you started making connections through film festivals and learning about more of the industry and all of that. And so that led to, of course, the short film that also got several awards internationally. So through all of that journey, after the script and after the awards and everything, what then prompted that it should become a book as well?
I don't know what God was working behind the scene. I had no understanding what He's asking me to do. Everybody who knew about the script, they said, Hannah, you need to write a book. And I said, oh, how do I do that? Can you explain me first what is book and how do we write? I don't know because I'm not a writer. I've never done it. And they said, no, no, you must write your story and this needs to be taken to the world. And I said, okay, so what exactly I have to do? I don't know. So they said, okay, we'll help you. We'll guide you. We'll teach you, whatever. And I said, okay, let's do it. Because if you're there, you're helping me. And they knew already the story about Hannah's dream before with the script. So they said, don't worry, God is going to provide everything. So I said, okay, all right. If you're saying, I'll think. So I prayed and I had a connection again on Facebook. People say social media is not a good place. For me, social media was the best place to connect with people, just like you. So then in that case, I always encourage that in the Bible, it is say in the last days, word will reach till the end of the earth. That's how the earth is getting the message now through social media. So I met somebody on Facebook and he is pianist and beautiful songs he does. I just going through with his page and I said, oh, it's a beautiful way you present and play. I like it. And then I shared with him my heart and I said, I'm looking for somebody who can help me write my book. And he said, oh yeah, I know somebody. I have some very close relative and she can help you. So I got connected with her. I recorded my all the story in Urdu, which is my native language, on the WhatsApp and send it to her. And she used to translate in English and send it back to me with Word files. So that's how the story was actually begin and compiled. And then after that, Risva, her name is Risva. She did beautiful work. And Risva said, I can finish this book because she was a medical student. So I said, no hurry, take your time. I think we spent maybe 2 years to do that.
Mm.
That was initial 2 years. Then all these people who were connected, they encouraged me, Hannah, you need to write down your story. And I said, oh my God, again, I have to write something. In those days, I was injured with car accident. So my hands were tied, my body was in pain. And I said, okay, I'll work. So I have my heat pad, my Voltaren applied, my medication taken, and I'm sitting in front of the laptop. And I said, okay, I have to type now. So I
Mm.
start typing whatever I know about my 53 years of life. And I made first version, first draft, and I send it to my sister and all these people. And they said, we don't know what you're saying. What are you trying to say? And I said, I don't know myself what I'm trying to say. You tell me whether you get my point or not. And they said, no, it's not clear. We are not getting through. Then again, I took time, I prayed, and I wrote another version. And then I send it back to some of these same people. And I say, okay, what about now? They said, no, it's not getting clear. It's not right. The message is not getting through what you want to say. Then I said, okay, I need time. And I prayed and I again sat down for another 2 years and I kept typing everything. Anything and everything was typed out. So for that, I have to think, recall everything, where, what, how, what happened. That was such a painful time. And I remembered all that. It was emotionally too much for me to write.
Mm.
Very hard to write all that because my dad's passing, then my mom becoming widow, 7 kids with no job, no income at home. All those years which we spent in that difficult time, persecution around, a lot of pain, that was making me more tired and more painful. I had to because God wants me to do, so I did it. Then third version, I send it again and they say, yeah, I think little bit now we understand. Now we know what you're trying to explain. And then I said, and I prayed and I said, God, can I send it to people, my editor, whoever you want me to send for the editing? I just wanted to write. And then I was sitting and praying and I said, Lord, this is the third version, which I have typed it out. And I really don't know whether this is ready to give it to editor or not. And in the same time, I was finding an editor. So I asked a lot of people around and they said, no, we are busy. Some said we are not interested. Some says, no, this is not the right time for us to get into in these kind of stories. So there were so many different no's in that. And I started praying and I said, Lord, I don't know who's the right person who can edit the book. I really don't know where that person is. You bring it. And again, as I prayed, God brought me to you. I was on your social media and you said we write books for Christian faith, which encourages writers. And I said, that is something maybe can work out. And I contacted you in Messenger. And then for a couple of weeks or months, I think you didn't respond. And I said, maybe she's not interested or busy or I don't know. And I still prayed and I said, Lord, whoever is from you, please bring it. And then you came into my life and you said, yeah, I can do it. And I said, thank God for something which I was looking for. And then how the story began, everything you are aware of the story. And then, yeah, you did edit, beautifully done. Everything is beautifully ready and published now.
Mhm. Yeah, it was quite a journey, and it sounds like the Lord really was teaching you a lot through it as well. And one thing that I know from experience is that, especially when you're writing your story or your experiences, that it is often painful to revisit memories or to process through things that you've been through. But there's also healing that happens through that because the Lord really shows you how He was there or how He was leading or how He worked it for good or just these different things that a lot of times the memories themselves are painful, but just going back through is really actually good and healing. And it sounds like God had that for you as well. And so, as you have been through this journey and you now have the script, you now have the book. And I know, again, off the recording and other conversations, you've shared other future aspirations that you have for books and other short films and things like that. So, what would be the thing that you would say is your greatest lesson that you've learned through this process that you would like to share with those who are listening?
I learned a lot of lessons, many great lessons, I would say. But in my own understanding, the first thing is in my life now, God. I I cannot think of doing anything without his permission. I cannot plan anything without his saying, yes, go ahead. I wait. I learn how to wait. I learn how to hear his voice. I learn how to sit in his presence. It's very hard to sit in the presence of God when there's nothing. Some
Mm.
days you just sit, nothing is there. And I kept asking God, talk to me, talk to me. I need to hear your voice, but there's no voice. So that patience sitting in God's feet is the most learning phase for me. It took
Mm.
me a lot of time. 5 years only I prayed for these victims. And in those 5 years, I was asking God, how can I help them? How I can take their voice outside, how people will come to know about them, what is the way I need to share what they have been through. So
Mm.
I think when that 5 years I was praying, asking God these things, I think script was the first answer. Second answer is the short movie because people saw that what happened. Many things happen in the world, but nobody knows what happened after a few years. They forget or whatever. But now, since they are ready and they are registered, licensed, approved, they are like legacy. They will never finish now.
Mm.
It's not just that church 180 or 200 people story anymore. It's the generation after generation will know about this story. So that legacy God taught me how to transfer. And sitting in God's presence and reading Bible and trying to understand what is his will in my life. We can do anything in the world. But what is his will in my life? That was so complicated. I'm MBA in sales and marketing. I have diploma in HR. I have worked with all the big multinational companies, oil industries, huge company. I made a lot of money in my services. But now I'm not working, so I have no money. And I'm not working with any big company. So my status is gone down. And
Mm.
I'm just sitting and waiting for God to tell me. So that time is very painful.
Mm.
As a human, if I see that, oh, I don't have this money for buying even coffee or even something or whatever, then I say, Lord, what do I do now? I'm waiting for you. You tell me what I have to do. If I go today and work, I can get the best job in the world. This
Mm.
was my skill. But I didn't wanted to do that. I wanted to do whatever God wanted me to learn and do it. And
Mm.
then after listening his voice, writing down and following that is the key. So
Mm.
even if I had dream or I had a vision or God talked to me and I just ignore it and I get busy with my own life, my work, my passion, my job, then that's not what I'm doing God's will in my life. So this is very important that you listen to his voice, tune your ears with his voice, because Bible says, my sheep hear my voice. They know my voice. So if
Mm.
you are the sheep, you will hear his voice.
Mm. Yeah, that's really good. That's really true. And it is definitely very important to learn to wait on the Lord and listen for him and follow as he leads. And another thing that Jesus said was that he doesn't do anything unless he first sees his Father doing it in heaven. And so it was this like perfect unity with the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And we're meant to model that. And so that's really encouraging, and I think good for people to remember and to, even if it's a difficult season or they're waiting for something or they haven't seen the answer yet, for them to learn to wait and be patient and trust that God has the perfect time for all things. So, as you have learned this and you've been walking by faith, and now these different things are accomplished with so many different pieces involved and people involved and all these different things, what is it that you are looking into the future and you're seeing? What are you working on now? What do you see coming in the future for your for your business or your production company or future writing projects that you have? What does that look like for you?
Since God has taught me so much and he brought me this far, I am very encouraged, and I never thought I'll do that again. This is again God's idea. I want to write more books. I have many visions. I have many dreams. God has shown me visions for governments, for individuals like presidents, very deep stories I have. So I want to reveal that through the book and, of course, with the script. And my ultimate goal is to make movies. So again, the story which God gave me, I may die someday, I don't know when, and how I will live, how long I will live. But when I leave this earth, I want to leave that trademark of God, that what He chose me for. So my generation and coming four generation will never forget that. That will be like forever until this earth is alive. That will be there. So my heart's desire is that first we make Hannah's dream movie, because script is ready. That's everything is done. Now book is ready. I'm planning to make a pitch so I can submit to producers, production companies. And maybe I'll have some different languages translation for the Hannah's dream book.
Wow. That's amazing. So if someone's listening and they're really moved by your story or just the different trials that you've overcome and how God has really provided for you through that, and they want to support what you're doing, they want to help the victims of persecution that you're trying to stand up for, they want to be a part of whatever it is that you're trying to build and do towards the future, how can they connect with you and how can they become part of what you're doing?
I'm available on most of the social media. They can find me anywhere with my name or Supernatural Story Limited. That's the actual title. They can email me. I'm available through emails. And if they are passionate about getting involved in the any of the project, whichever they like, or they have talent and skills in that, they can become my partners, sponsors. They can help me in kind support, volunteer, anything God has given you those gifts, you can use that in the project. I am happy to work with you. You can go on my website. There are a lot of packages which we have created. So if you are taking one package, you will get benefit out of it that. So there are services, exchange, there is barter service. We can do a lot of things the way God has built you, and you have those skills which I need in the making the movie or writing another story or whatever, pitch creation, whichever talent you can bring in. That is amazing. And I'll be thankful.
Yeah, definitely. So for everyone listening who's not sure exactly what those links are, if you go to, I believe it's hannahratnam.com, I will also include all of her details and links in the description for you guys so you can easily find those and reference those to see more of what Hannah's doing and follow along her journey. So thank you again, Hannah, for joining me on the podcast. It's been great to have you and hear more about behind the scenes and the process of your journey.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for editing beautifully. And thank you for being patient with me.
Yes. And yeah, definitely. And for all my listeners, thank you also for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed, then I hope you will leave a review and share with someone you know. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thanks so much again for tuning in to the 1 Minute Writing Tip podcast. If you've been someone who has wanted to write a book for a long time and you'd love to just have some help mapping out step by step what you need to do to accomplish that goal, go to wewritebooks.com/I2 as in the number 2, P as in print, and you can get yourself the book Idea to Print, which is literally the step-by-step roadmap to finally kick a writer's block's butt and accomplish your best-selling book. And I would love nothing more than for you to be able to see that dream accomplished. And of course, you'll have to let me know when you do that so that I can celebrate with you. Don't forget to like and comment below the episode, and I will see you on the next one.